Good morning. My name is Nick Welsh, and I'm here to welcome you to Earth and Space Science. If you haven't already done so, please go ahead and grab a syllabus that should be waiting for you by the door, as we're going to go through that and the student information sheet on the second page. Once you have your syllabus, go ahead and rip off that back page. I'm going to pull up what you guys are looking at. You should see this page right here that you see on your screen, the student information sheet. I'm going to ask everyone to fill this out, even if you've already done so for me in the past, or if you're a new student, everyone's going to fill a new one out for me. Everyone go ahead at the very top, put your name, full name printed, please, and a phone number which I can contact you at. And then go ahead and check those boxes to whether or not you have access to a computer and or internet at home. If you are under the age of 18, I do need you to fill out this middle box as well. So I need a parent or guardian name as well as a contact. It could be the phone number or email, whichever you have. Please go ahead and copy that down now. And then everyone is going to go ahead and fill out this bottom part, which just kind of helps us get a jump start on the class. If there's anything that you feel like you're good at or is one of your strengths, go ahead and list that in that first box. Could be science related, could be school related, could be not. Same thing for the weaknesses. If you struggle with anything like reading, writing, math, anything like that, go ahead and put that down there so I know to look out for that. And then at the bottom, you can put anything that I need to know. Do you have a preferred name that you go by? Do you have any preferred pronouns that you go by? Or anything that I need to know, that might be an issue for the class or anything that you want to put down there, go ahead and jot that down. When you are done with the student information sheet, go ahead and again rip that back page off and hand that to myself or the teacher in the room. And then we're about to go over the syllabus. Please pause here to allow students to finish up the student information sheet. Okay, what you should see now is the front page. So let's go ahead and flip over to that and take a look at the syllabus together. At the very top, you're going to find my contact information. Again, my name's Nick Welsh, and then you see my phone number and email up in the upper right-hand corner. If you're going to miss class or if you need extra help or have a question, feel free to reach out. Just understand if you reach out quite late at night, it might be until the next morning when I get back to you, but I do try to get back to everyone within about 24 hours. And both the text or an email comes straight to my phone, so go ahead and send that whenever you can, and that way it'll be waiting for me in the morning. Let's go ahead and take a look at what you're going to be doing in this course. The name says it all, Earth and Space Science. So we're actually going to start with outer space. That's the exosphere unit, where we go ahead and we take a look at things like gravity, the Big Bang, stars. And then in the second week, we're going to take a look at planets and solar systems and galaxies and all that stuff. And then that's the end of that first unit after the first 2 weeks, and then we'll head into a unit on the atmosphere. So all the gases that surround the Earth. We'll take a look at the layers of the atmosphere, how some things change as you go up through the atmosphere. We're going to be taking a look at things like air pressure and wind. And then in the second week, we're going to start focusing more on weather. How does the atmosphere affect weather? How do we read the weather and make weather maps and all that stuff? Then we'll actually be taking the midterm because that'll be the end of the first 4 weeks of the class. And as long as you're passing both the class and the midterm, you'll go ahead and get that first A credit already. Then if you need the B credit, you'll be with me for the second 4 weeks as well, which we explore the geosphere. That's all the rocks on Earth. So we'll be talking about the layers of the Earth inside. We'll be talking about the rock cycle. We actually do a rock identification lab. And then that final week or so, we spend on something called the hydrosphere, which is all the water on Earth. So we'll be talking about oceans, what's in ocean water. We'll be talking about the movement of the oceans with currents and a little bit on waves and tides to finish up. After that, we will be getting ready to review and take the final exam, which will only be over the second 4 weeks worth of material. So only over the geosphere and the hydrosphere. And then as long as you're passing the final and the second 4-week gradebook, you will get the second credit as well. All right, go ahead and turn over to the back so we can take a look at how you get graded in this class. If you're new to the Excel Center, this might be a bit of a shock, but 80% of your grade comes from assessments. That's both quizzes and tests, including the midterm and the final. This is because here at the Excel Center, we do things at an accelerated pace. So I would normally have 185 days to teach something, but here I only have 30. So we have to show that you guys have mastered the material in order to say that we've made it through the course. The other 20% of your grade comes from classwork. This could be anything from exit tickets, any labs that we do, sometimes web quests or things like that. Anything you put forth a lot of effort for, I want to give you some points for. So that's going to make up that other 20%. And we'll talk more about exit tickets towards the end of class. All right. If you take a look at the next section, it's the classroom expectations. Now, if you look around the room, you're not going to see a big list of rules because mostly we operate on the golden rule. Please treat others as you would like to be treated. So I'm always going to do my very best to show each and every one of you the utmost respect, and I just hope and pray that you share the same with me, and the same with each other. That's really important. We're all here for very different reasons, but for common goals, and so it's very important to respect other people's time and effort that they're putting forth to this program. Try and be here on time and be respectful, especially if it's a first period class. Class does get started right away, so if it's first period, it's 9 o'clock. If it's fourth period, we're looking at 2:10 for the start time. So try and be here ready to go because I usually start right at the beginning of class so we can get through things in a non-rushed manner. So just try and be here ready to go. And then third, always give your best effort and believe in yourself. I hear a lot of people doubt themselves when it comes to science, say, Nick, I'm not good at science and things like that. And sometimes with our accelerated pace, people feel very rushed. So it's very important that, especially on quiz days, which is going to be every Thursday, so you have a number of grades in that category. On quiz days, it's really important that you just come in here, you say, you know what, we worked really hard this week. I'm just going to try my best and see how we do. The other important thing I always want to say is that you can always retake any quizzes that you don't get the score that you want on, and I always take the higher of the two grades. We'll talk more about that when we talk about tutoring. And then last but not least, this is a school, so you need to follow those typical school rules, like please, it's not Fight Club. Don't come in here swinging on each other. Don't bring in any drugs or alcohol. Don't bring any weapons, even if they're toys or things like that. Just leave that stuff at home. Don't put yourself in a position where you're removed from class for one of these silly reasons. All right, next, we need to talk about cell phones, okay? It is the 21st century and cell phones are a part of life. So it's very hard for me to sit here in an adult high school and say you can never be on your cell phone. But I am going to ask that you manage yourself and your cell phone use. One of the biggest myths that people believe is that multitasking is a thing and you can be on your cell phone and also paying attention to what's going on in the classroom. And take it from the scientists who study the brain, that's just not a thing. The part of your brain, the front part, that does the thinking about what words mean, about what we're saying, about what concepts we're talking about, that can only do one thing at a time. So if you're thinking about what's on the Snapchat and the Facebook and this and that, and TikTok, you're going to miss out on what we're talking about in the room. So yes, you're physically in the room, but mentally you're off in cyberspace. And so you really want to limit that use. If you do get a text that you have to answer, whether it's from family or work or something like that, keep it to 30 seconds or less, put the phone away, don't be a zombie on it, and it won't be an issue. If you get a call that you must answer, please don't interrupt class, just hold up your phone and shake it. I'll know what you mean. I'll send you out the hallway, and then you can keep it to a minute or two and then get back into class. But again, try and keep that just for work or family in the case of emergency. There is only one time that I do ask phones to be away entirely, and that's during quizzes and tests. I know how easy it is to ask AI or Google something, so it's very important that on test days, I want to know what do you know. So phones do need to stay away during quizzes and tests. You may see some students using their phone on a quiz or test, but that's chances are they're learning English as a second language, and they're going to be using that phone to help translate the text to help them better understand what the question is asking. That is on an individual basis, and we keep a close eye on what they're using that for. So, all right, next, makeup work. If you missed a day at this school, I always say it's like missing a week of traditional school. If you take a look in the upper right-hand corner on the board, you should see the schedule for this week, and you can see that every day we're doing a new topic. So when you miss a day, you really miss a whole topic. Like today, we're talking about gravity. Tomorrow, we're on to the Big Bang. By Wednesday, we're already talking about stars. So every day is a new topic, and it does go quite quickly. So when you miss because of sickness or doctor's appointments or whatever, you really need to get back in here and get caught up quickly because it's going to be harder to understand the later stuff that we talk about if you miss a lot of class time. If you do miss class time when you get back to school the next time, make sure you get the work from me. It's usually up in the front of the room. Just ask, and I should be able to get that together for you. Or you can always come in during tutoring, which kind of takes me to that last section on tutoring. Tutoring is on Fridays from 10 to 12. I'm usually here every tutoring unless I have some kind of meeting or something like that in Indianapolis. We do from time to time. So if we're not going to be here for tutoring, we will always let you guys know. If I'm personally going to miss, I always can leave work with somebody else. So you can always have tutoring, but I'm usually here, so it shouldn't be an issue. That is a great time to make up any quizzes or tests. So let's say you got a bad grade on a quiz or a test and you want to retake it. What will happen is I will give you your old test. We can take a look at it together if you want, or you can take a look at it independently to see what you got right and what you got wrong. Then we can do a little review over anything you feel uncomfortable with. And then what I'll do is I'll take the old test and I'll give you a new one and you'll retake it. And I always take the higher of the two scores. So if for some reason you do worse the second time, I always keep the higher of the two. So there's no harm in retrying any quizzes or tests to make sure you get the grade that you want. If there are any other questions, please feel free to ask or reach out to me. But this is here for your resource, so please keep a hold of this page in case you need to look up anything later in the course. All right, and now it's time to get started with some science. So let's go ahead and pass out the notes for gravity, and we'll take a look at that together.